Dear students, our today's lecture is devoted to the formative assessment process. The formative assessment process includes several indicators. The first one is formative, the second one is stimulating, and the third one is motivating. Let's consider each of these categories. Formative lies in establishment, formation, and practice of the system of values. Stimulating lies in creation of favorable conditions for effective promotion of learning for achieving desired goals. Motivating lies in motivation of learners to learn and achieve appropriate results. If we consider the daily practice of a teacher related to the formative assessment, those are planning and organizing formative assessment, selecting formative assessment methodology, analyzing formative assessment results, and providing a daily feedback on the results of formative assessment. It is necessary to carry out a formative assessment depending on the following learning objectives from the subject. Of course, it depends on the subject program and curriculum. Use appropriate subject-specific vocabulary and syntax to talk about a limited range of general topics. Evaluate and respond constructively to feedback from others. Develop and sustain a consistent argument when speaking or writing. Identify the levels of thinking skills. Define assessment criteria. Preparation of tasks. Define assessment criteria and prepare a task according to them. Draw up descriptions. So formative assessment tasks play a crucial role in helping teachers and students monitor learning progress throughout the educational process. These tasks are not used to assign grades but to collect feedback, identify strengths and weaknesses, and guide further learning. The diagram presents 4 key types of formative assessment tasks that teachers can integrate into daily classroom practice to make learning more interactive, reflective, and student-centered. At the center of the scheme, we have formative assessment tasks, which include a variety of techniques designed to provide ongoing information about students' understanding and skills. Let's look more closely at each of them. The first is self-assessment. This task encourages students to evaluate their own learning and reflect on their progress. It helps them develop self-awareness and responsibility for their results. For example, students might use checklists or rubrics to rate their performance after completing a project or essay. Self-assessment promotes metacognitive thinking, the ability to plan, monitor, and evaluate one's own learning. The second type is peer assessment. Here, students assess each other's work using clear criteria provided by the teacher. This process fosters collaboration, critical thinking, and communication. It also allows learners to view their own work from a new perspective. Through peer assessment, students learn to provide constructive feedback and support their classmates' growth. The third task type is questioning by quizzes and exit tickets. These are short, low-stakes assessments conducted during or at the end of a lesson to check understanding. For instance, an exit ticket might ask students to answer one question, such as, "What was the most important concept you learned today?" The teacher can quickly review responses to see whether students have grasped the material or need further clarification. The next task is project drafts and feedback serve as advanced form of formative assessment. When students submit draft versions of their project or essays, teachers can give feedback before the final submission. This process helps students refine their work, correct mistakes, and improve overall quality. It emphasizes learning as a process rather than a one-time performance. In summary, formative assessment tasks such as self-assessment, peer review, quizzes, observations, and project drafts create feedback, rich learning environment. They empower students to become active participants in their own education and allow teachers to adapt instruction based on real evidence of students' learning. Here you can see some examples of formative assessment from secondary school. These examples will be discussed during our practical lessons. And let's consider one of the state compulsory educational standard of the Republic of Kazakhstan. And here we will discuss requirements for the level of learners' performance. The subject is biology. So a learner after graduation of secondary school must know the structure, composition, and functions of proteins, fats, carbohydrates, muscles, acids. Understand the process occurring during the dark and light phase of photosynthesis. Applies the schemes and the methods of solving the problems. Analyze the features of photosynthesis. Synthesizes the scheme of gametogenesis in humans, schemes of food chains and ecosystems itself. Assesses the effect of various factors on the actively daily routine. Here there is a scheme of formative assessment organization. It also includes a feedback, and there are in general 6 steps which will be discussed in details during practical lessons. Thank you very much for your attention.